knocked out body, and then he just walks out like, if you want to be a quippy guy, be a quippy guy. If you want to be the strong silent type, be that. But it's weird when you give me a quip like immediately in the movie. It's like, what about my tip, basically?
Yeah.
And then you do something really cool and you beat all three of them up. And he's like, I can't think of one right now what somebody would say, but
you could play on anything there. Yeah. Pizza, tip, I'm martial law, and then the title card or something like that coming in.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been great. I mean, yeah.
But yeah, we get a really fun fight scene, and then we go on, and I think the next thing we should talk about is the first time we meet David Carradine.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. And coming in, we're introduced immediately with the twirling of the bow staff back to the screen, back to the camera, and it's this. You see Philip Tan off to the side, and it's one of the better entrances of a villain. I just think it's one of the most mundane, but fun to watch. And like we said, I think Carradine does great chewing it up, and he does what McQueen could have done as the hero, and Faster Brown as well. Just go balls out with it, man. Just do it.
Yeah.
And
be the cheesiest guy in the room.
Yeah.
You know? So Dalton is the name of David Carradine's character. He is questioning whether or not these two guys are loyal. This is the first time. This is sort of, we're getting to meet Sean Thompson's brother, who is the car thief, and they're stealing cars for David Carradine. And they both get busted by the cops, but they both get released. So I think you're led to believe that Carradine is going to give the rough stuff to both of them. But he likes Michael. Michael Thompson, the brother. He likes him because he can fight real well.
He likes what he saw in the dojo.
Yeah, that's right. That's how you get to know people's fighting skills. Yeah. The dojo.
The dojo.
You just watch from his window, watching the class, and be like, I like that guy. He's going to be my car thief from now on.
Yeah.
But he knows the other guy was driving, and basically that guy fucked up. So he's getting the bow staff to the head now.
Yeah, and with the rubber ended, I mean, we see a point on it, but again, even I asked you after I'd watched it, were we supposed to think that he was shot in the head? Because we find him later on in a dumpster with the hole in his head, and it's not really. I wish that Carradine it would have been a great time while he's twirling that thing around. He's like, maybe the history of bow staffs, they would take the end and make this carving on the end where it would puncture a man's skull, and then okay, there, you did it for me. That's all I needed. And yeah.
But no, we don't get to see the bow staff enter his head or really go. We're watching David Carradine as he sort of pokes at the guy's head.
Yeah, it's just a loud poke, a thud, and just that's it.
And then everyone's like, "Ooh!" We get reaction shots and "Wow, that was really gruesome, boss." He poked him in the head with a stick. Why don't we skip ahead and let's skip to the fight scene in the bar? I think.
Definitely.
It's probably the better fight scene of the whole movie, next to Philip Tan and Cynthia Rothrock at the end. Their specific fight scene, because Chad Mcqueen's and Carradine sucks. Yeah,
so of course we get McQueen and Rothrock are in the club. They're kind of undercover, and we get a great taste of just how sexual Chad McQueen is to women. And
women want McQueen in this movie.
They do, man. And it's just that look that he gives Rothrock after she hands him the rubber. I don't know why I said rubber like it's 1988 again.
Well,
but,
that's probably what they would have said.
Yeah.
Basically, they walk into this club, it's quote-unquote undercover. McQueen, sleeveless as 80% of the movie he is. Mm-hmm. And this woman approaches him, grabs him, kisses him, hands him a condom. It's just welcome to the Trojan room.
Yeah, and that look that he gives Rothrock, I can't control it. It's not me doing it. And she's just I know. It's you and that healthy cock of yours that
healthy cock raw magnetism that you have. It's such a strange thing, nobody else sees it.
Yeah, it's just that eagle landing on a cross tattoo that people love.
They know he means business.
And I shouldn't say that. Who knows if that's a real tattoo and that maybe his dad, or I don't know what that is. But
that's true.
Yeah, who knows what that is. But go ahead.
I was just saying, at that point, basically they're in there undercover trying to get Faster Brown, and they find him, and Chad McQueen takes a fruity pina colada drink and hands it to him, And of course, Faster Brown's like, what the hell is this shit?
Just acting his ass off, man. Yeah. Like, man, just he needs that other gig after this, and
then my favorite thing that a villain does in this movie is when Chad McQueen's like, "Hey, I'm the police," shows his badge. Faster Brown reaches into his jacket pocket, like on the inside, like you see, and of course you're like, oh, you would think, oh, this guy, he's got a gun. But no, he reaches for his nunchucks.
He reaches for his nunchucks, yes. And you know, I mean, he's got skills with him, it seems like. I mean, he had some training with hhim. Who knows? I don't know what a good nunchucker is supposed to look like, really. Yeah. I mean, I've never seen one, but... I can take that back. But, I mean, yeah, he's proficient with it. And the fight scene with him, and during this time, you get a real taste of how McQueen's going to fight through this movie.
Yes.
And, again, like, it's immediately telling that, you know, the punches are heavy, the kicks are heavy.
Yeah.
It's not light on your feet like Rothrock is. They switch back and forth.
Like a damn ballerina out there, man.
She does. And, I mean... Even the shots that she takes, it looks like she's getting hit. I mean, it does. And
that's because she asked people to hit her, I guess.
Yeah. And McQueen just is very, like, top-heavy with trying to throw punches over heads and stuff like that, too. But, yeah, I mean, all in all, we have the guy who I wish would have done a bear hug, the big fat guy in the blue tank top.
Yeah.
He should have came in and done a bear hug or something like that, probably.
I would have liked to, because you never know who the goons are in these movies. Because, especially in a big bar fight like that, people always just interject themselves.
Oh, yeah. You want to show off.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then, a big bear hug. But we get... Chad McQueen fights two bigger guys. Both times, he's like, oh, boy.
Oh, shit, yeah.
I've really done it this time.
Yeah.
When he fights Tony Longo, he does that. And when he fights this large man in the club, he does that. And both times... So are we supposed to think he's unassuming? Because on the one hand, you have these women who want to have sex with him on the dance floor.
Right.
And on the other hand, you have multiple times where he's pitted as the smaller guy. And when he goes in to try to work at the karate studio to infiltrate it, Tony Longo's like, you don't look like much.
Yeah. He was the Dalton of Roadhouse before Dalton of Roadhouse.
Yeah, maybe that was what he was trying to be.
Yeah.
So... Cynthia Rothrock fights off a bunch of guys. Chad McQueen fights off a bunch of guys. And like you said, Chad McQueen just sort of stationary, duck, duck, punch, punch, duck, duck, punch, punch. I don't know. This just isn't the fighting I remember. The way he was fighting was not the fighting I remember for martial arts movies of the 90s. Like hers was. Jumps, flips, a lot of kicks. Yeah,
it's definitely just... It's stuff that I could watch anywhere, probably. And I mean... Exactly, like I'm having a tough time like pinpointing it in those fights that he's in.
Yeah,
it's very by the numbers fighting on his scenes, and with Rothrock, it's kind of like I bet you it was more improvised. Like let's make sure we hit these beats, but in the middle of that, with the fighters that I'm fighting with, I can do anything else pretty much, or we can do anything else as long. And you see that too. To where much more flexible, much more light on her feet, and just the fights that he's in though, it's just very punch, duck, get hit back, come forward, punch, like, and it's very weird and very blocky how it is with his.
Probably the worst moment for Chad McQueen comes when he realizes that someone is using the Den Mach.
Yeah, he takes that pretty hard. He does.
He does. So if you don't know, because you weren't really made aware of this until halfway through the movie, Chad McQueen's character leaves the States and goes to Hong Kong to train, to be the best. And he lives there apparently for a while, because his brother sort of gets into bad things, and his brother wants to be just like him, and that's all he wants to be. So his brother starts taking karate, and as a 25-year-old man is given a participation trophy, which is weird. And while on his adventures in Hong Kong, I guess he ran with some pretty bad crews, and he had seen the Den Mach before.
Yeah.
And it's about... When you think of like actors overacting and being bad actors, it's exactly what you think of. They pull down the white sheet of the dead man. A Denmark is a heart punch that starts the heart, and he sees this unique palm strike on the guy's chest, and he's like, oh. Hands on his hip, head down, shakes his head back and forth. He's like, Denmark. He paces around. He's like, yeah, it's this. Then he goes into history. It's just a really weird scene.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, and we talked about this again. It's just something, we could have brought a one paragraph kind of meeting between his brother and him, or even him just getting back on a plane from, talking about not the Denmark, but just like, one, you're packing all this stuff of him coming back from Hong Kong and stuff like that too, that you've learned. I mean, we could have sprinkled that in at little places instead of just ham-fisting it in one scene and then just him. The detriment of seeing another Denmark, like, I saw too many of my friends die from the Denmark in Hong Kong, and now it's over here in the States. Like, how the hell did he get over here?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Turns out it's Dalton Rhodes, this gangly white guy. So let's go ahead. A lot happens in this movie. I don't know if I would recommend you watch the whole thing, but just watch some clips. I don't know. Watch the whole thing. It's fun. Do you think you should watch the whole movie? I
mean, I would say yes. Watch at least once. I mean, if you love action movies, I mean, it's not that I didn't like it. I had fun with it, but it's not one that I would definitely go back and keep watching. It's not one of those, unfortunately.
Carradine plays a cold guy, and we're going to skip all the way to the end of the final fight.
Yes.
Boss fight.
You get what I've been asking for. This is what I want in an action movie. I want the number 2 baddie to have a fight,
right,
with the number 2 good guy, and the good guy to have a fight with the final boss. And I want the good guy, the main action hero lead, to look weak.
Yeah,
and that happens here.
Boy, McQueen looks weak. He looks weak, and
David Carradine looks like he's.
Yeah.
It's like they recorded the rehearsal sometimes with David Carradine.
Right. And it's like the faces that he makes are pretty great. I mean, it's like one with the shaking of the Denmark against Professor Tanaka the first time, and then you get McQueen doing it. But then let's start from the top, though. I mean, with everything first. Before we get there.
And Chad Mcqueen has been has followed and infiltrated this gang, the Dalton Rhodes Karate Gang. And before his little brother died, before Dalton killed him, he was basically like, "My brother's better than you." That got Dalton's dick moving a little bit. He's like, "Oh, really?" Because Dalton likes to go toe to toe with people,
right?
And so he's like, "Before I kill you, I want to see if your brother was right." And so Chad McQueen's like, "Okay, here we go." And Chad McQueen gets in his weird stance like he doesn't care. And David Carradine gets his ass kicked and then just like, nah, I'm done.
Nope,
shoot the guy.
I'm done. Can shoot him. Yeah.
It's like a 3-second fight scene before David Carradine's like, all right, nope, yep, he was right. He is better. And right when Philip Tan's about to shoot him, Cynthia Rothrock and her goddess self just jumps into the screen with a beautiful jumping sidekick, and takes him out. Yeah, and then they're fighting in the same location, which I like. I would have loved to have seen them like go back to back or something like that.
Yeah, that's where they missed out. They're playing in this little, I mean, not little, but a hangar at the airport, and there is so much fun stuff that they could have played with there too. And especially, like you said, switch off a little bit, go back and forth, do something like that. It would have been so much fun.
They're in a 20 by 20 garage basically, and it's like the scenes were choreographed completely separately and had nothing to do with each other.
Right. Yeah, that's what I wonder. Do we ever see them fight together on screen? Mm-mm. Do we ever?
They do. I mean, they fight. No, you're right. I think you're right. I think they do something side by side in that alley fight scene.
Yeah.
But even at the end, it's like, good job. Yeah, you two.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I can't remember seeing them both fighting on screen. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I want some
Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Yeah.
I'm jumping over you to use you as a vault to kick somebody. I'm going to give you the after I do it. Some high fives.
There was a lot of stuff there. There's chains. There's everything to play with in that hangar, man. They could have done a lot of stuff, but no, we just get like we get some weird noise